The Veyra Cycle. Resonance. The natural process through which all living beings generate mana. Every heartbeat, breath, and moment of life contributes to this continuous cycle, producing energy that accumulates within the individual over time. While all living things possess resonance, most cannot consciously influence it. In humans, this stored mana remains dormant during childhood, gradually increasing as the individual grows and develops. The mana generated by every living creature eventually contributes to the world resonance field, an invisible network of energy that surrounds and connects all life in Valtheris. This field is not a source of mana, but rather the collective result of countless living beings continuously generating resonance. As life flourishes, the field strengthens. As life diminishes, it weakens. The world resonance field serves as the foundation of the natural mana cycle that sustains the world. In humans, resonance typically manifests around the age of 7. During this process, the dormant resonance within the child reaches maturity and awakens. The manifestation itself is unique to each individual and marks the moment when their resonance begins expressing its innate nature. Although the exact cause remains debated among scholars, the event is considered one of the most important milestones in a person's life. When the manifestation is complete, a spiritual companion known as a Veyra emerges. The Veyra forms a permanent bond with the individual, also known as a binder. Through this connection, the binder gains conscious access to their accumulated mana and begins learning how to channel the natural behavior of their resonance. The Veyra does not grant power, rather, it serves as a catalyst, allowing the binder to understand, direct, and express the resonance already within them. But not every manifestation brought comfort. Some left entire villages in stunned silence. Some became stories whispered for generations. In the village of Eldra, before the sun had reached its peak, something had already begun to go wrong. A young boy ran through the streets of Eldra, stumbling over uneven stone and scattered crates as he forced his way forward. His breath was sharp and uneven as he pushed past anything that stood in his path. An old lady sat behind crates of vegetables when the boy, unaware of it, crashed into the crates.
Elliot, watch where you're going.
The young child looked back at the old woman but kept running without stopping.
Sorry, I'll help you pick it up later.
Baskets overturned behind him. Vegetables spilled into the dirt, while startled animals broke loose and scattered into narrow alleys. But none of it slowed him, because whatever he carried was more important than the mess he left behind. Ahead, the structure of Kawari's post came into view, modest in appearance but unmistakable to anyone in Eldra. Charms for protection hung beside etched runes that shimmered faintly in the light, and the steady movement of townsfolk in and out of the store gave the place a quiet sense of importance that reached far beyond its size. The boy didn't hesitate. He slipped into the crowd, weaving between shoulders and baskets, his eyes scanning frantically until his voice broke through the noise.
Has anyone seen Darren?
The boy's question lingered in the air before a hand emerged from the crowd.
He's over here.
The boy pushed toward the voice, gently making his way through until he finally reached him, slightly bending as he caught his breath.
I have a message from Samira.
Darren fell silent. The store's sounds gradually dimmed, intensifying the weight of the moment. His expression shifted, not from surprise, but as a sign of recognition. Aeron, his son, had turned 7 years old a few weeks ago. Darren had already felt the change, the faint traces of mana that lingered in his son's room, the quiet shift in the air that came before something revealed itself. He had known this moment would come. He simply didn't know when. A faint movement caught his eye. Perched atop the boy's head was a small creature, light and restless, its presence barely contained as the air around it moved with a subtle current. Strands of hair lifted, fabric shifted, and the space around it carried the unmistakable touch of wind. It was his Veyra, a manifested beast that took the form of a monkey and was aligned with the wind element. The boy smiled, showing a blend of pride and urgency as he looked at Darren.
Your wife said, it's time
For a moment, everything appeared to come to a halt. And then, the store suddenly burst into excitement as everyone started to cheer and celebrate together. Voices rose in celebration, and laughter filled the air, easing any lingering tension. People moved closer, hands reaching out warmly and calling out to Darren as the exciting news spread throughout the store. In Eldra, a moment like this belonged to everyone. A child had reached their awakening. Another Veyra was about to manifest. Darren's son was about to become a binder. But Darren remained silent. Before the noise could die down, he had already turned around, weaving through the crowd with a sense of urgency that contrasted with the festive atmosphere. His steps grew faster as he broke into a run, heading home. When Darren stepped into his house, the bustling sounds of the town gently fell away, replaced by a quiet heaviness that felt unexpectedly comforting. Samira sat at the table, her hands folded tightly in front of her, her posture rigid, as if she had not moved since the moment it happened. Darren crossed the room quickly and dropped to one knee before her.
I came as soon as I heard Elliot's message.
Darren was excited, as he had been looking forward to this moment for quite some time.
Samira, what did Aeron manifest?
Samira did not answer. She looked at him briefly, her face showing a mixture of emotions as she didn't understand what had happened in Aeron's room. Then her gaze lowered. Just moments ago, everything had been as it should. She had felt the mana building inside the house. It had started with the first signal, the slow, steady rise of mana within the room. It wasn't visible at first, but she could feel it. The air had grown dense, almost heavy, as though something unseen had begun to press outward from Aeron himself. Then came the second. A soft glow had formed around his body, faint at first, like light seen through closed eyes, before deepening into something brighter. The edges of the room had blurred, shadows bending slightly as the energy gathered, drawn inward toward a single point. Then, the third signal followed. Aeron's breathing had slowed, his body going still as the mana surged outward in a sudden release. A pulse that carried through the room, brushing against walls, rattling loose objects, stirring the air in a way that could not be mistaken. Even the sounds of Eldra's people beyond the window seemed to dull, as if the world itself had paused to witness the moment. Samira was present when it happened. Everything seemed to be perfect. The manifestation was completed. Suddenly, the light had collapsed. The pressure had vanished. And when Samira opened her eyes, there was nothing. No form. No Veyra resting near her son. Aeron lay still, his breathing deep and distant, as the faint traces of mana gradually faded from the room. Next, on the Veyra Cycle, Darren questions Aeron's future when he fails to find a manifested beast in his room. Stay tuned for Chapter 2, Realization.